Okay, welcome back. In this video, I just wanted to cover the P-card form itself, kind of what it looks like, so a higher level view of it, before we actually go in and start looking at how to work with individual transactions. So let's go to the P-card form, take a look at it. So this is what the P-card form looks like. It's pretty simple. It should be pretty easy to fill out. The idea behind creating this P-card form was that everything should be pretty streamlined. You should be able to come in here as a card manager and know exactly what you need to attach for the financial office to approve your expense. So that being said, let's just look at the top. The transaction nickname is the first thing on it. This is an optional field. This is mainly for the card managers themselves, or you who's filling in the P-card form. The idea here is that if you're filling out a P-card form before you actually have the transaction in the application to attach it to, you'd put in a transaction nickname that is pretty descriptive, and enables you to know when the transaction comes in that this P card form is for that transaction. So an example would be, say I know that I just bought something that was lab supplies. It cost like $32, and I knew it was for, if I had multiple cards, I knew it was for one card, and it was for, say, myself, Max King. So I would say, maybe say lab supplies, right? 32, Max King. It doesn't, it's very up to you how you name this. I just think that the more descriptive you are, the better you are later on, because when you come in here and look for the related transaction that does post, these are going to be some of the things that you're going to be able to see over here. So you're going to be able to see, oh, well, there's the cardholder Max King. Oh, the amount. Oh, I don't see something for $32. So there's not much I can do with that yet. Um, you could also put the date in there. It's really up to you how you work with that. The next thing that we see moving on is the related P-card transaction. So this is where you would select the P-card transaction that you're going to work to submit documentation for. So if you select, say we're doing this one, you'll notice that when you select that P-card transaction, a lot of the information is pulled into it, the doc number, the cardholder, all this information. So you don't actually have to fill any of this in, which is really handy and really helpful. Um, so this related P-card transaction is pretty huge. It's what links the documentation to the original expense, which then when you submit it to be verified, makes the verifier's job really easy because they can see the transaction and the documentation all in one place. Moving down, there's a series of checkboxes here. All these checkboxes do different things. They should be pretty much self-explanatory and pretty easy to work with. The first one's personal expense. So if you made a personal expense by accident, you just click that off. And right away when you do that, general ledger, it puts it to the personal expense general ledger, non-reimbursable expense, blah, 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 blah. So that works out really nicely. Fraudulent charge, this just marks it so the verifiers know what to do with it. Anticipating international transaction, when you click on this, it allows you to then later link this original transaction to the international transaction fee that is also connected to this, which means you wouldn't have to fill this form out again for the international transaction fee. It's really easy to then just take the international transaction fee and link it to this original P-card form. We'll go over that in later videos, but this is really important. If you do have an international transaction fee and you're anticipating it, click this checkbox. Similarly with refunds, same idea. Click the refund, anticipating refund thing, checkbox here. When you do that, it will ask you how much you're anticipating. Please enter the tax amount or that whole refund amount. And this again will let you later on, instead of filling out a P-card form for refunds that come in, all you'll have to do is link the refund to this original P-card form where you had already filled out the correct account number, GL, justification, and receipt. It basically saves you from doing double entry, which is really helpful and should save you plenty a bunch of time. All right, moving forward, here we go. We got the account number. These field is made so you can't go past 7 digits because that's how long a cost object ID is. The general ledgers, this is actually super helpful at the lookup field. So you can come in here, and the finance office has actually added some GL descriptions for a lot of common GLs. and you can go ahead and search things. Let's say we have a meeting. Well, here's a few GLs that have meaning as key names in their description and in their actual name themselves. So maybe it's one of these, or maybe you have lab supplies. Boom, you have that. Another thing that happens here is, so if you have certain GLs, food is one of them. Oops, not that one, this one. You'll notice you need more information. So right there, right then, the form will know that you need more information and actually add in this information that you need to enter. So it basically saves you. So if you aren't using this GL, then you will never have to enter that information, but it allows you to basically provide the information needed as you go forward and filling this stuff out. Another thing this P-card form does is it allows you to attach multiple accounts. So say you want to split this transaction across a couple of accounts. All you have to do is add a second account. Maybe you want to add a third account. It goes all the way up to 5. If you need more, contact your financial office. And we could try to add some more in there or find out another way to add in or to get that account information into us. When you do add more than one account, you'll notice that the amount for the accounts for each account appears here. So you'll have to just say how much. Maybe you wanted 15 here or 14 here and 16 here. You'll just have to do something like that and make sure that they add up to the total amount of the transaction. The next step is the justification. So the justification is pretty important. This is something that we ask you to kind of be pretty descriptive with and just tell this is basically a field for you to tell your verifier in the financial office what this expense is for, why you needed to use your P card, and so on. So the more information you can provide, the better it is. If you don't provide much information, you might get the form sent back asking for a better justification. But this is really for you to convey to the financial office verifiers what this expense was for. And lastly, down here, we have the receipts. So you have the option to attach up to 3 receipts. They're super easy to attach. You just choose a file. It goes to your file directory, and you're just going to say, oh, I want this one. And boom, there it is. So those are also super easy to work with. There is a couple little things here that I just want to bring up real quick before we end this video. When you're working at P-card forms, when you first are filling out the form, before you can do anything with submitting it or putting comments in, which I'll show in later videos as well, to your financial office, you have to save and keep working. This button down here, you have to use this when you first filling it out. And you'll see, I'll use it right now. When you press save and keep working, it's going to save the form. And then it's going to bring me right back to that same form I was just working in. So there it is. And now I have a few more options. I can still do the save and keep working, or I can continue to the next page. It's just kind of a quick-based thing, but you're going to need to save the forms before you can do anything else inside them. And I just wanted to bring that up real quick. We're going to go further later on into, continuing the next page and what the rest of the form looks like. But this is just kind of a high-level view of what the P-card form looks like and what is kind of the different fields are and what's expected of the card managers inside this form. Thank you for watching.